Hopefully you guys can hear me. Put this on. We're gonna give folks a chance to tune in. And let me set this for you guys. Hi. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm just gonna wait a couple of minutes and let people join. But I'm really excited for this chat today because we have much to discuss. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started in just a couple of minutes. I do have some notes because I definitely want to make sure that we are touching on everything, because this conversation is necessary. So let me go ahead and pull that up and then we'll go ahead and get started. In the meantime, feel free to let me know where you're from, what area of the beauty industry you're in. I would love to know that while I get this pulled up for you. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I do have my notes here. So if you see me glancing to my right, I am going to be touching on some really important notes that I want to make sure we cover because it's all really important. So if you're new, I'm Brittany Michelle. I'm a licensed beauty professional. I specialize in textured hair care. For this coming August, going on 10 years, 10 years of full-time business in the industry for myself. It's been an amazing journey. It's been very fulfilling. And now I just feel so strongly about heading in this direction to speak to beauty professionals, because I feel like it is very important. There's so much that we do need to touch on. And with everything that I have learned, I'm really looking forward to sharing what I've learned, because it has really just transformed my career. It has transformed, elevated my career. I've been able to grow incredibly. And I really do want to share how I was able to do that and share some insight with you so that you can do the same thing. Okay, so for today, we're going to be touching on the topic of burnout. And just, in this industry, you know how it is, or how it definitely can be, to feel like you're doing it all, to feel like you're wearing a lot of hats, especially when you're in business for yourself. So whether you are a hairstylist, a makeup artist, a lash tech, nail tech, esthetician, maybe you're in wellness, so you're a massage therapist, whatever area of the beauty industry that you're in, I'm sure you know how taxing it really can be on the body, because in this industry, you really do have to love what you do. A lot of times, a lot of us do feel called to do this because, not only does it take talent, but it takes a certain, kind of personality. And, in addition to it feeling very taxing on the body, because, we're working with our hands and we are getting the job done that way. But it also can feel very taxing emotionally sometimes, because we're giving a lot to our clients. And if you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business and you're running it full time, and maybe you're taking clients, a lot of times we're doing everything. And so if you are like how I was, because I definitely can relate to that feeling of feeling like you're doing everything. You are running this ship. You're taking the clients, you're doing the admin. You're also needing to be emotionally available for your clients, because it is a career where you're needing to connect in that way. And then, don't even get me started with like social media. You're needing to be the videographer, the photographer. You have to like write the copy, write the captions, and it can definitely feel like a lot. And so when we say the word burnout, it's not just about the physical aspect of, this area of the industry. It's not just the physical aspect of what we do, but it's also all of the other things that we most certainly are doing in order to run our business and maintain our lives. And so it can feel very real. And so let me know in the comments if that definitely feels like you. Now, I also want to talk about how burnout can negatively impact pretty much the trajectory of your career, and it can negatively impact how you move forward or not move forward in your career. And this is very crucial. This is actually pretty detrimental, because the more you stay in the feelings of burnout and feeling like you're kind of just going through the motions because you're running everything, and that you have ideas of where you want to go, but you're not physically able to have the time and space to accomplish those things. Being in this mental and physical space of burnout can delay what you are really called to do. And so that's what we are going to be diving into today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I'm going to describe a couple of points, and you let me know if this describes you in the comments. So let's say you're a beauty professional who you have clients, but you're either offering services that no longer align with the direction that you're wanting to head in. Maybe you're ready to kind of head into a new direction. Like you're wanting to not offer certain things, maybe because of how taxing it is on you physically, or just maybe because you are evolving as a professional and you're wanting to not offer certain services. So maybe you're a professional who has a clientele, but you're wanting to head into a new direction. You're wanting to offer certain services, and just not offer the services that you're offering now anymore. B, maybe you just want some direction on how to attract the clientele that you are needing, the clientele that you're wanting to attract. You're wanting to know how exactly to go about that. But while also like taking the old set of clients, like it can kind of feel like a little weird, like an awkward situation to kind of be in, because it's like you have this like group of clientele, but you're kind of not wanting to target them necessarily anymore. You're wanting to evolve and sort of not offer the things that maybe they're wanting, and you're wanting to attract a new kind of clientele. But it's kind of like, how do we effectively do that? Because at the end of the day, you're still needing to maintain your career. And so we're going to talk about how we do that. And then finally, perhaps you're a beauty professional who you're just wanting the clear step-by-step direction on like how to do this. What should this look like in its entirety, as far as what you're going to be offering, how you should market it, how to effectively and successfully pivot, and just all of the things that come with that, while also not overextending and feeling even more burnt out. Okay, so let's dive in. One of the first things that you're gonna want to do, now mind you, there is a very thorough way to go about this and completely like change everything. Because first of all, I've done it. I definitely can relate to feeling completely burned out. I can totally relate to feeling like you are, basically you're everything to everyone. Like maybe you're super talented and you know how to do many things, and that's what people love about you, and it's like, you're kind of everything to everyone. The first thing that you're going to have to come to terms with and take action on is not being everything to everyone, and literally downsizing, or AKA minimizing your service list and making it very specific and strategic. So if you're someone who's wanting to offer certain things, like you're not wanting to attract a certain clientele anymore, like the kind of clientele that you want to attract, the very first thing you're going to have to do is get clear on the services that that you should be offering now. So let's say you're a braider and you are wanting to attract only curly haircuts, or maybe you're someone who wants to attract only blonding services or extensions like K-tips, or maybe you're in another area of the beauty industry like lashes or nails, or you're an esthetician. Maybe you're somewhere in there and you're wanting to specifically target a certain target audience or clientele. You have to narrow it down. You cannot be everything to everyone. And it's okay, because it'll work out so much better in the end. Trust me. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say, you're a hairstylist and you're offering everything, like you're offering cuts, color, maybe you make wigs, maybe you do extensions. You're going to have to narrow down. Let's say you want to attract a higher ticket clientele. You're going to have to look at your service menu, determine what services are high ticket items, if that's something that you are focused on, and literally eliminate the other ones and only offer the ones that you're wanting. And so you're probably wondering, okay, that all sounds great, but what about the clients that like I'm currently catering to? Like, what about the clients that I'm currently, servicing, that are coming to me? You are going to have to, at the end of their appointments, when they're like, oh, can you book me for this? You have to effectively communicate that. And it's completely fine. Don't freak out. But there is a perfectly seamless professional way to communicate the direction that you're heading in. And a lot of times clients, they respect it so much more. And what you can do is offer or share how much, like the benefits of what you're going to be offering, the benefits of what that'll be for them. So now it's like, let's say they're used to braids and now you're wanting to transition to specialize in like healthy hair care, natural hair, curly cuts, and things like that, you can talk about how it's just so much healthier and just talk about all the benefits and how this is what I'll be offering now, you know. And when you stand firm in pretty much what it is the boundary, folks will not only respect it, but the ones who value you will stick around, and the ones who are looking for that kind of professional will find you. So let's move on to the next thing that you're going to want to do. So again, that first thing was to clarify this new direction that you're wanting to be heading in, right? So once you've clarified the general direction, the next thing you're going to want to do is audit your content. Now, again, everything I'm listing is going to help you not feel burnt out in the end. There are steps that you'll need to take in order to like not be feeling burnt out, so that you can be operating in excellence. So you can be operating in the way that feels great. You know, when you're wanting to be in this business, you want to be happy. You want to be able to be in a state of creative flow. And if you're not feeling that, it's going to be really difficult to continue to grow, because eventually what you'll experience is you'll end up finding that you can make more, you can sustain, you know, a certain level in your career without having to emit so much energy, without having to do too much. Basically, you'll be able to make more, have more time, more freedom, more creative space to really do what you want. And so the first things we have to do to get there is what we're talking about. Now, the next thing after getting clear with your direction is auditing your content. Okay, this is really important. Hi to those of you who are joining in. You can say hi in the chat, because at the end of this, we're gonna have a little discussion. I would love to kind of hear from you. But the next thing on this list is gonna be to audit your content. This definitely will be a separate video, because this is so important. This will change a lot. Because if you're wanting to attract a certain clientele, there are certain things that when you do them, you start to immediately see the results. And I can personally attest to this. Like, I am a witness. Everything that I'm telling you also is everything that I've done in my own career. And it has served me very, very, very well. So you have to audit your content. One of the first things that you're going to want to do is, if you scroll down in your content, the first thing is you want your feed to look pleasant and appealing to the eye. If you have to kind of get into the mindset of the ideal clientele that you're wanting. If you are wanting to attract a certain kind of clientele, you have to kind of get into their brain and think, okay, what is it that they're wanting to see? So I'm going to give you an example. A lot of my clients, so if you're wanting to attract a higher ticket clientele, let's just say, most times this target of clientele, they are particular. They like an attention to detail, and they like clarity when things are clean and just look put together. Because a lot of times, the thing is, they can afford to look very polished, and they want someone who has that same kind of attention to detail. And your feed needs to reflect that attention to detail and that level of polish. So if you scroll through your feed and you, first of all, if your cover images are before photos, you need to switch it immediately to afters, because that clientele needs to see polish. There needs to be polish. So that's number one, is to clean up the look of the feed. Get rid of anything that has absolutely nothing to do with your field, who you're trying to attract, and where you're headed. Get rid of it, archive it, or delete it entirely. The next thing you're going to want to do is assess your bio. You have to be clear in the bio of who you are and how folks can find you, your location. You should definitely have a link, because every video should have pretty much a call to action, which is where they can book with you. You got to be very on point with everything that is on your feed, on your social media accounts. So assessing your bio would be another thing. So for example, if you're a lash tech, or again, if you're a hairstylist and you're wanting to specialize in something, let's say you're wanting to specialize in K-tips, you need to put that, luxury K-tip specialist, put your location, and then have your direct link to book. Putting the location is very important, because the last thing people want to do is be trying to scroll and figure out, okay, well, where's this person located? Like, I want to book them now. So definitely have your location in the bio, but without getting too deep into that, again, the next thing you want to do is audit your content, okay? I would also, to add to that, I would say you want to start posting content that educates, like talk about why people should come to you and why, you're better than any of the other options. You should definitely be showcasing before and afters. If you don't have a ring light, I highly recommend that you invest in one, because it just brightens the look of your feed when your work is illuminated with the light from a ring light. Highly recommend that you get one. It should be in your Amazon cart right now. Okay, so moving on. The next thing that you're definitely going to want to do is educate your current audience. This is really important, because you don't want to leave that audience behind. And a lot of times, you'll be surprised as to how many of your current clients would want to just continue and, go in the direction with you, with where you're going. And so in the meantime, what you can do on social media as well is kind of educate folks on, excuse me, excuse me. Educate folks on why this new direction is something that's going to benefit them. Why would they want to continue to book with you with this new thing that you're wanting to head in? Okay, so in the feed, just talk about the benefits, talk about why you're passionate about this direction. So again, all of this is important to do, because eventually what this will lead to is a condensed version of how you're operating now. Once you start to narrow and kind of zero in on the things that you want to offer, then all of the other things, you will no longer have to do them. So again, I'll give you an example. So many years ago, kind of towards the beginning of my career, again, I've been in entrepreneurship for 10 years, full time. And so in the beginning, my service menu, because my whole thing was I can do all of these things. Oh, you want a sew-in? I can do that. You want a wig made? I can do that. Highlights. It was no problem. But eventually you're gonna get burnt out. And so in the beginning, you know, it was like I am doing the work, but I'm also admin, I'm also answering email, I'm also, you know, pretty much customer service because, you know, folks are contacting me. And then when you're on social media, it's like you're getting a flood of folks wanting to reach you. And it's like you have no bandwidth. And this is not healthy. And so eventually what you're going to want to do is choose the things that you know, only want to do. And basically I just polished everything up even more. Like things were clean, but it was like, all right, let's tidy things up even more. And that meant getting rid of a lot of things on the service menu. That meant sometimes you have to raise your rate because it just is what it is as far as the value. And that's another topic that we can actually dive in. We can actually dive into that a little further. But you'll have to raise your rates, and you'll have to be very specific in your service menu. And so once I started doing that and completely refined my branding, now everything is in excellent alignment. I mean, just the pivot was completely seamless, and the results showed in the work I was producing, the ease I was feeling, the time and freedom that I had, and most importantly, just the level of financial freedom that I also was able to experience. So all of this is going to be so amazing for you, I already know. And so we're going to go ahead and I just want to leave you with this. If you are feeling burnt out and you know you want to get into, you want to head into a new direction, maybe you're ready to kind of pivot in your career. You want to know how to market this new direction that you're heading in. You also want to elevate your career or your current business so that you're able to operate in complete excellence and it just looks polished and you're just on another level. And if you want the freedom, the time, and the space to just operate creatively and, of course, make 6 figures or more, because yes, you definitely can and you will. If that sounds like you and you're wanting help and guidance with this, I highly recommend that you check out the link I'll go ahead and leave it in the description of this. I am offering one-on-one coaching to help you strategize and help you get to this next level. I've been there and I know what it's like, and I'm excited to help you get to that next level. So I'll leave the link to schedule a one-on-one coaching call in the description of this video. I also recommend, if you want more of an in-depth guidance on this, I highly recommend that you get access to my Beauty Boss Blueprint. It is designed specifically for the beauty professional that is wanting to do this, wanting to pivot, wanting to just completely elevate their careers and get some guidance. I do have the Beauty Boss Blueprint, which honestly is amazing. And it too includes one-on-one coaching as well as 90-day step-by-step guidance on how to finally get what you're wanting. I'm going to go ahead and leave the links to those 2 resources in the description of this so that you have that handy. And I'm just going through my notes to make sure I covered some things that I wanted to cover, because I know that burnout, like this is such an important topic, because It literally is the worst. I know how it feels. But let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. How are you feeling in your industry now? Are you feeling burnt out? What part of the industry are you in? And what are some of the things that you're wanting to see change in your own part of the industry? So let me know those things in the comments. I truly would love to hear from you and what you guys have to say and how you guys are feeling. I'll be sure to also leave links to my socials so you guys can find me on other platforms. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for tuning in if you have. Yeah, I think we covered everything. So see you guys in another video. Be sure that you subscribe to this channel. Yeah, I'm really excited for what's to come because I have a lot in store for you guys. But I'll see you guys in another video. Take care.